What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. And today, we will not talk about aliens.
Yeah, wait, that's a lie. That is a blatant lie.
Yeah, it might end up running to there. I mean,
Some of these stories have legitimate, authenticated alien spacecraft from outer space.
Oh, really?
No, but maybe.
Well, we're going to talk about some fun stuff tonight. I came across a video, and it talked about frog people. And that caught my interest because I know about the Loveland Frogman. You know about the Loveland Frogman. But I figured the Loveland Frogman was one of these weird one-offs that we love so much. And it turns out that he is not.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, according to this video I saw, and there's a lot of things that we couldn't second source on this video. We'll say that right up front.
But what if it's not more than one? What if it's the same one? And he's just doing a world tour?
I was wondering that too, but there's a description here from the original Loveland Frogman that, I don't know, I came across another description. They called them the Loveland Frogmen / Lizardmen. Have you ever heard of them being described as lizardmen?
Yeah. I remember when we covered it before, talking about the escaped iguana, and it was like somebody described it as being a running like an iguana, but then it stood up on its hind legs. I think it was the second sighting.
Yeah, just for shits and giggles, I'll go over the original Loveland Frogman cases. There's a couple of things that when I was reading up on it, I mean, forgive us guys if we're just repeating ourselves, but there's some things in there that I didn't remember, that my brain didn't associate with the Loveland Frogman case. So kind of new details as far as us covering it on the show. But it's a fun story. I love the Loveland Frogman stuff.
Yeah, it's a classic for me too. It's like one of the first like weird cryptid cases I think that I came across like when I was younger.
Yeah, it's like one of the first ones you run into outside of just looking up Nessie or Bigfoot.
Yeah. It's cool because in the original case there was no report of like a UFO or anything. It was just like these weird bumpy fucking frogmen with magic wands.
Yeah, reading that one over the original sighting again made me laugh a little bit. I forgot about the magic wand, and I was like,
yeah, the magic wand is what makes the sighting so much better. Like he's just shooting sparks out of this fucking magic wand. It's great. Like maybe the frog wizards are at war with the lizard wizards, or maybe they have the same nefarious purpose, and one's like the aquatic team.
Maybe it's like the Shin Godzilla movie, and they're just like at different stages of metamorphosis into a full.
Ooh, oh yeah, these are like the adolescent, the rookies, or no, these are the old ones because they're fat and lumpy. When they get old, they're just like, I'm so fat, I'm just gonna shoot sparks out of. Oh shit, a person coming jump in the pond. Yeah, and then they go jump in the pond.
That's a funny thing about all these sightings. We're going to go over the Loveland Frogman stuff right now, but all the sightings take place alongside, like basically on a road that runs along the Little Miami River in Loveland, Ohio. And I don't know about you, but after reading all this stuff, I have the question of why do frogmen love to chill on the fucking road?
It's warm, man.
That's maybe
the pave or the blacktop retains the heat.
That's what I was going to ask you. You being somebody who knows about those things and owning animals of the amphibious nature, but I thought logically, yeah, maybe they just love laying on the hot pavement.
Yeah, that's why I see snakes doing it too. They
right,
chill on the road. Well, not chill. They warm in the road. Like, oh, this is fucking nice. Yeah.
Well, the first sighting took place on May 25th, 1955. Businessman Robert Hunica was driving to work at about 4 a.m. He's driving again on the road that runs along Little Miami River, and it's always near this bridge, the Loveland Bridge, and it's literally like, it looks like it's 8 car lengths long. It's just to get across this little river. But he said he suddenly spotted 3, quote, man-like trolls kneeling by the side of the road.
Trolls, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He said he slowly approached them in his car, and he could clearly see that they were standing upright. They had semi-reptilian skin that was gray in color. They had the face of a frog, slender limbs, and these two details I don't recall, Mike, and they're really fucking gross. He said that they had long hair, and he said even though they had the face of a frog, they had normal human eyes, like forward set eyeballs.
Ew.
Yeah.
I don't remember the hair or the human eyes. Oh, wait, are you saying human positioning or like they had actual human eyes?
He called them normal eyes, not frog's eyes. Everybody else who's seen this
That's
thing
weird.
talks about its big, huge frog eyes. But yeah, can you imagine that? That made this creature way worse. And then the reptilian skin, I didn't remember. I thought the frog moniker covered the skin area, but that's supporting this reptilian men. Is frogmen justifiable when every single person who saw it said it had reptilian-like skin? Do you consider frog skin to be reptilian-like? Would you use that?
No, I wouldn't say frog skin, but toad skin perhaps.
Right. There you go.
Like, covered in bumps, and it's not slimy, but it would have like a frog face. But I remember seeing the original drawing, and like the way that he drew them, like they almost looked like they were like hedgehogs or something, or like armadillos, something weird like that. Like they weren't like he didn't mention porcupine quills, but he drew like just the way he drew the spines on their back. I don't know. But the long hair is so fucking creepy. I don't like that at all.
Not at all. It's very gross. It seems like it's a cross between something or something trying to be something else, maybe. But he said
It sounds like a hideous monster, and I don't like it.
He said he then stopped his car, bravely got out, and watched the creatures for around 3 whole minutes. And then the reality and the terror of the situation set in, and he suddenly realized that he should get the fuck out of there. So he got back in his car and did just that. But he said as he passed them by, he noticed one of them was holding some sort of stick. And when he reported this, he called it a wand. And that's because when he was driving by, the creature swiftly lifted his arm into the air, where bolts of blue lightning flashed and shot out of it. So that's the Lizard Wizard Jr. Or no, you said old retiree, right?
Yeah. This is the old one. Like he doesn't have time for human bullshit anymore. If he was younger, he would have vaporized that motherfucker the second he rolled up. But he's old, and he's like, you know what? No one's gonna believe you saw a fat toad man with a magic wand. No one. And he's right. He's right. Except for dark corners of the internet, they will believe him. And, well, I guess at the time it would have been like paranormal news groups or something, sending letters back and forth.
The old ones are all temperamental, so the middle-aged lizard wizards just give him the equivalent of a spark plug to play with. They're like, so he doesn't cause any trouble.
Yeah. Here, go, you and your chums, go get fucked up and play with your sparklers. And like, I love sparklers. I'm going to go play with sparklers. And then they go off and they fucking drink like fermented swamp water or something and blast each other with sparklers and giggle like fucking schoolgirls. That's the lizard wizard retirement. Ooh. And then you get to a certain stage where you become too fat and too lumpy. And then the youngest of the lizard wizards eat them. And, that's the cycle of lizard wizarddom.
Damn.
You start your journey by eating the old, knowing that eventually you will be eaten by a future generation. It's a brutal life, the lizard wizard, It's definitely a life that requires dedication and sacrifice, as well as a certain amount of fortitude and bravery, really. Let's give him some credit.
Another weird thing I noticed about these Loveland Frogman sightings, I think there's 4 in total, so he's not really one of these one-off guys, but almost every single one, there's a group of them.
Well, yeah, the old, they're old, man. You ever see, like, go to a diner and you just see that group of old men that's hanging out? This is the equivalent of that.
They just want to have friends.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask. They just want to be with their buddies and go, have a good time.
But seriously, as far as cryptids go, it's rare that you hear about them being seen in groups, huh? There's like 3. There's a report of 4 at a time.
Unless they're goblins. Goblins are also reported in groups.
Right. This part of the first sighting, I didn't remember this either. And again, this could be because I'm old. We could have said this in the first time we covered it. We could have missed it. I don't know, but this startled him so much that he drove straight to the Loveland police station and reported the incident to the chief of police himself, Robert Fritz. And the story goes that he took the story seriously because he ordered an officer to stand guard and watch the bridge and the area and see if he can spot anything. And supposedly the chief called in the FBI and even they investigated. And I wonder if the officer sent to Sensory the bridge spotted something so out of the ordinary that his report prompted the chief to contact the FBI, if true.
I wonder if any of this stuff gets reported, like if well, not reported since it already happened, but like if any of this stuff is being researched by the current groups, like looking into the UFO stuff. Like I'm curious about like cryptid files too,
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. UFO stuff, I'll take it. Disclosure, those documents being released, people testifying, for sure, I'm all in. But I just, like we're talking about D'Souza, FBI's UFO guy. I want to hear from the FBI's cryptid guy.
Yeah, or I bet D'Souza's got a lot of cryptid stories, but because UFOs are the hot topic now, that's what's coming out.
Right. Well, the second sighting takes place in the same area, but next to the Loveland Bridge, 17 years later, when on March 3rd, 1972, at around 1 a.m., Loveland police officer Ray Shockey was driving on the road that ran alongside the river when he saw what he thought was a dog laying on the side of the road. So he started to slow down to see if it was injured, but as he got closer, he said it suddenly stood up, where he could see that it was what he called a frog-like creature. It was described as being 4 feet tall, leathery skin, huge eyes to be about 45-50 pounds, and it looked like something crossed between a frog and a lizard. Again, I don't remember all the lizard references.
Yeah, I've noticed in a lot of the stories that I came across for this episode that they're being described as frog or lizard-like. And it's weird to me because, in real life, you look at a frog and a lizard and there's a clear distinction between what a frog looks like and what a lizard looks like.
Maybe that's the problem I'm having, because to me there's a clear distinction and I wouldn't use them to describe the same thing.
Yeah, me neither. Especially like even the difference between a frog and a toad. I would think most people would be able to tell the difference. I'm sure there's some people that are like, frog's a frog, but toads and frogs different. I don't know. It seems so to me. It would almost seem like they're more like hybrid type creatures, like not necessarily like an actual like biological hybrid, but I'm saying in terms of the looks, like somewhere between a frog and a lizard. So maybe it's got like scaly skin, but it's got like a wide face with a wide mouth and eyes like a frog or something. Or maybe they're like the fucking the people in Innsmouth that as they get older they take on more of a froggy fish-like face until they finally fully turn into the deep ones.
I believe it. But he said he sat there parked as they stared at each other for about a minute before it darted across the road and jumped over a guardrail and disappeared out of sight. Now, shocked, he immediately drove to the police station and filed a report. Now, I have to point out here, Mike, there's been a few times when doing research for the show, there's been a few cases to where it was hard to find shit on these subjects. And sometimes we run into a story to where we find the same story twice, right? Like we can second source it, we can corroborate another report of the same type of thing, and that's usually that's our goal. That's what we do. Sometimes we'll find a story that it sounds like it has two like encounters or two stories to go with it, and they're just a little too close for comfort. This sounds almost word for word like the first encounter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does sound very similar.
Dog in the road, pulled over to help it. It sprang up to its feet. To me, I was like, maybe there's a little...
But wasn't there one of these stories that was confirmed to be a misidentification of an escaped iguana?
No, see, that's... From what I remember, that's how the story goes. And I've got the details on the iguana side of this story. So we'll get there. But I just found it strange. I think it was the story about the row of houses in England that were haunted. And there was so many different stories that it got confusing. It sounded like the same story was being told, but being credited to have been gone through by a different person. And then I found out that no, it was the same person. And then I found out no, it was a different person. So I don't know if it seems like if there's a little legend building there going on. Do you think? Because it's the same scenarios.
I mean that's a very real possibility. Is that it's like it took on like urban legend status, and so it's we have the original story, then we have this one that's like, oh, my uncle is a guy who saw this thing, and this is what happened to him, and then it's the same exact story.
Now, coincidentally, we get to talk about this case, this sighting later. We get to talk about who was involved in this sighting later. What does the fact that this is a police officer that reported this? This isn't like so many cases. A couple of kids prancing through the forest when they come across something creepy. This is a cop on duty, on patrol, running across this, and then actually filing a report. I mean, this is unlike a lot of stories like this. This is a police officer reporting this for no reason. It's a very small area. He doesn't have any reason to. This isn't going to get famous. He didn't call a newspaper company. He told his boss,
and then his boss reported it like a son of a bitch
to the FBI. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, of course, get the fucking spooks involved.
Now you've screwed us all over.
Now they're listening to everything about this. They know that we're talking about it right now. They're coming for us, Mateo. The frog people are coming for us. It's the FBI, but the F stands for frog.
Well, that wasn't it for this for Shockey here. After he filed his report, he returned to the site to where he saw the creature, and this time he brought along fellow officer Mark Matthews. They reported that they found claw marks on the guardrail, and they found strange tracks that were by the river. Only 2 weeks later, on March 17th, 1972, Officer Matthews himself was on patrol and driving right outside Loveland when he saw what he figured to be, again, a dead dog in the road. Fearing it would become a traffic hazard, he pulled over and decided that he should move the body out of the road. So he got out and started walking towards this body, and when he did, it sprang up to its feet and locked eyes with Officer Matthews, where they instantly fell in love. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. That's the story I want to hear. Keep going. What happened? Are there hybrid beings anywhere?
Oh yeah, about 7 years from now, unexpectedly, right after they get married. It's too soon. No, we'll be great parents. It's a whole story of love and romance. Officer Matthews.
You hear it too much, man. It's a sad thing.
Well, sadly, they didn't fall in love. It was quite the opposite. He shot it.
Oh God, that took a horrible turn. I don't like that. I liked the other version better, where they fall in love and build a life together. Instead, he just fucking kills it. God damn it. You son of a bitch.
Break up, make up. Nope, he just, pulled out the blicky and let him have one to the breadbasket. But apparently when it jumped up, it scared the holy shit out of him. So he instantly, like on instinct, drew his sidearm and shot it.
Oh, well, if he was scared, then that's okay. My bad.
It's slinked across the road the whole time, keeping his eyes locked on Officer Matthews. And when it got to the guardrail, it flopped its body over, clearly injured by the shot that it took. His description of the creature matched Shockey's to a T. So this is 2 police officers reporting the same thing. Now, I don't know. I don't know anything about Ohio and this area. Is there like no people out at 2 or 1 in the morning? Is it strange that only police officers are seeing it, or is it natural for the setting? I don't know. What do you think about?
Maybe it's haunting police officers.
It's 1,000 souls of frogs run over on that road there by police officers manifested.
They all manifest together into fucking wizards that shoot sparks.
Yeah, instead of one giant like Godzilla-sized frog, it just made like 45 small ones, and they're all shit.
Oh yeah, and the one that he killed, its guts are gonna like spread out and get absorbed into the other ones, and they're gonna grow just a little bit.
Yeah.
Absorbing his power. So every time you kill one, you're just making the remaining ones stronger. Remember that.
Don't do it. Don't burn it.
Yes, we have to preserve them, because when it gets down to 1, it's going to be fucking Godzilla-sized, and then we're all doomed.
It seemed like this was a busy month for the Loveland Frogman, because just like a week or 2 later, a farmer who chose to stay anonymous reported to the police that he saw 4 frog-like beings walking along the banks of the Little Miami River, and he watched them all enter the water, and somehow they all noticed him, so they all went under the water. And he had a field that literally ran along the Little Miami River, so he was just standing in his field looking at this river and watching this happen. So that was it. Those were the sightings for the Loveland Frogman. Just started in the 50s, ended in the 70s there. Does that match up with your memory of the case?
Yep. And wasn't there like a recent sighting, but like it couldn't be verified at all? It's just like someone like I think it was like teenagers or something said that they saw it, but there was nothing to indicate that whether or not it actually occurred.
Yes, there was. Well, yeah, we'll get into that because there's something that goes along with that. But for me, that's where the Loveland Frog story ends. And the new things I found out that I saw that in 2001, apparently, almost 30 years later, Matthews gave an interview via email about his encounter with the Loveland Frog Band. And I am going to read those quotes to you right now.
Ooh.
He said, quote, "There's absolutely nothing to the incident that relates to monsters or the paranormal. This entire thing has been habitually blown out of proportion. It was and is no monster. It was not leathery or had wet matted fur. It was not 3 to 5 feet tall. It did not stand erect. The animal I saw was obviously some type of lizard that someone had as a pet that either got too large for its aquarium or escaped by accident, or they simply got rid of it. It was less than 3 feet in length, ran across the road. It was probably blinded by my headlights. It presented no aggressive action." So, obviously, he's going against everything that he stated in the original sightings.
So, do you think maybe his original report was just like the way it was reported was kind of embellished to make it sound like he saw something that he actually didn't? Or do you think that he's changing his story?
Well, I mean, when you read about his encounter, I mean, he made comments of that it was like a monster. It was a monstrosity. It terrified him. If it was a pet fucking lizard, why did you, in fear, pull out your service weapon and shoot it? What is?
Maybe he's just got a fear of lizards.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's something else related to Mr. Officer Matthews there, but you are correct. August 3rd, 2016. On my notes here, I wrote Pokefrog Go. That's the year Pokemon Go came out.
Yes, that's right. Yep. Okay, I remember hearing about this now.
Yeah, two total fucking dorks were out trying to catch them all.
Nerds
with the Pokemon.
I hope they did catch them all though.
With the Pokemon Go app game that came out near a place called Lake Isabella in Ohio. And they said that they saw two huge frogs swimming in the lake. And they watched it for a minute. And then it stood up on its hind legs. And they said that to them it was the Loveland Frogmen. It's 2016. You bet your tits. They took a video of it. And I couldn't find this video for nothing. All I could find were stills. And I sent you the picture, Mike. And it looks like something that could be shaped as a frog with two big eyes where the flash is reflecting off of it in the middle of the water. It's not deep in the middle of the lake, this lake. It's towards the shore. They said it's a video. I heard it's a video, and this is a still from it. Did they have a flashlight? I don't know about cell phone cameras too much. I think I can have my flash on while I record a video. I don't know. Can your phone do that?
Honestly, I've never tried. I don't know.
Right.
I'd never I use my phone so infrequently for like videos and stuff. I've never, I have no idea. Never tried.
Me neither. I wouldn't know. But you saw the photo. What do you think of that photo?
It could. I mean, if it's a video, I would like to see the video. But just the photo, it looks super creepy. But it's also very easy to fake something like that. If it's and not even using like editing software. Like all you need is something vaguely frog-like with lights in the eyes.
Yeah, I think you can alter a fucking piece of lawn decoration and get that effect.
To me, the eyes didn't look like eye shine. It looked more like the eyes were projecting the light.
Yes, exactly.
Which is different from eye shine.
I agree. Funny enough, it seems this sighting prompted Officer Matthews to contact WCPO News in Cincinnati. What do you think he said?
That he saw a monkey.
Nope. He said it was, he just contacted them and basically reiterated that the frogman shit doesn't exist. He said that, again, elaborating on the truth of his story. So he says that what he saw was an iguana that was missing its fucking tail. And he added that he did kill it. And he shot it and he showed its corpse to Shockey. And that Shockey confirmed that it was what he had seen in the first encounter when he was by himself. And he again said that it had to be somebody's pet. He said that he had told his story to an author who wrote a book about urban legends of Ohio. And he also said in the interview that, quote, "It's a big hoax. There's a logical explanation to everything." That is fishy to me, dude. You wait 30 years.
Why is it?
You wait 30 years.
Yeah, but some people, they're sick of perpetuating a lie, and they're just like, you know what? It was all bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did that, right? He did that back in 2001, and it's now 2016, and he's like, "I will not let any speak of frogmen exist." To me, it just seems weird. Do you think he got fucking picked on the whole time, all these years?
Yeah, that's a real possibility, because he is a cop. Maybe the other cops are like, come on.
Right, and he just jumped on an opportunity to like reset the record, not set the record straight, but maybe just like in official capacity say it's fake.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility.
But yeah, I guess something's going on with Ohio, bro. This is where the Crosswick monster stuff took place. You remember
I don't remember the Crosswick monster.
No? Okay, this is a weird case in cryptozoology for me. To me, this one stands out. Crosswick monster is a place that's like 100 miles from Loveland, from what I remember. I'm probably wrong. but it was the story about these two kids, maybe teenagers, were walking around in the woods, and they were attacked by man. They were attacked by what they said was about a 40-foot long snake-like reptile with arms and legs that were about 4 feet long in themselves. And it grabbed one of the boys and started running away with it. The other one tried to hold on to the kid, his friend, and he couldn't, and it ran away with him. So he ran back home and told everybody what had happened. And they all fucking sound the alarm and go try to see what's going on. And sure fucking enough, dude, they catch up to this thing. And it's fucking almost done swallowing this kid. And they attack it. And they get the kid out. And it retreats to this huge hollowed out oak tree. And they set the oak tree on.
Oh, yes. I do remember this one now.
Right. And they set it on fire and it was never seen again. But
right,
the thing about this case to me that makes it so interesting is that this happened in 1882, but it was still very well documented. The whole thing was written down. And in the documentation, there's over 60 fucking people that testify to seeing it. There was a lot of people who ran to help with this, whatever was going on. They believe this kid was freaking out. So over 60 people responded and saw this thing, and they chased it for like over a mile. And they had to fucking fight it to get it to let go of this fucking kid. And they all testify. They all swear that they all saw it. They all went through this.
Do you remember when we covered the Kentucky Goblins the first time? There was a case that happened literally the day before, where there was this couple that was swimming in a lake right near the Kentucky border with Ohio, and the girl she said something grabbed her ankle and pulled her under, and she said it didn't feel like she was bit. She said it felt like a scaled hand grabbed her ankle and pulled her under.
No, I don't remember that at all. Dude, one of these days we'll get cool enough to where the Newkirks will come on our show and we can finally just ask them, like, what's going on there? Because all that shit, Ohio, Kentucky, the shit that was going on in season 1 with all the tunnels that they were talking about, I think they were onto something.
Yeah, definitely. That I think the tunnels is a big thing. The abandoned mines.
Me too. Can you imagine being any sort of creature and trying to hide and like happen to go into a cave and find like this man-made tunnel system for you and just going like, fucking sweet. I'm going to walk a mile in and nobody will ever be in here. Ever.
Yeah, I don't know. And Kentucky's where I want to go, man. Like when I move, that's where I'm aiming towards, is somewhere in Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, Kentucky or like Tennessee. One of those places probably.
Wow. May I ask what's your draw to those places? Just the paranormal stuff, or are you like fucking bluegrass music, or what?
I want to move somewhere that's warm most of the year and rural, and where I don't have to worry about hurricanes.
Ah.
But the paranormal stuff is an added bonus for sure.
Nice. There was another creature that I came across in one of these things that I've watched for the show tonight, and it was something that I had never heard of, dude. And I think I haven't heard of it. Maybe we've covered it before. We have covered the Loveland Frog, so you guys can go back and listen to that original episode if you want. We covered the Crosswick Monster, which goes into more detail about that. But when I heard about this, I went to go look it up to cross-reference it and second source it and stuff. And there's one image of it that really seemed familiar to me. But have you heard of the Charles Mills Lake Monster?
I do not believe so.
I see. It didn't seem familiar to me. So this Charles Mills Lake thing, monster, I hadn't heard of this. It took place March 28th, 1959. It's 4 years after the last Frogman sighting. It's in a place in central Ohio. 3 friends, Denny Patterson, Wayne Armstrong, and Mike Lane, were chilling on the shore of the lake there, Charles Mills Lake, when suddenly a 7-foot tall, armless humanoid with glowing green eyes
Armless?
Armless.
Huh.
With glowing green eyes and large webbed feet popped up out of the water. They all ran like motherfuckers, but they did tell the police, and they went to investigate. And they said they found strange tracks that resembled something like in the likeness of what a scuba diver's footprint would leave with flippers on. In Ohio, chill out with your monsters. No, actually, bring them forth. Put them on your state flag.
Yeah, we need more monsters from Ohio. Like, can we have like an official, I don't know, an official vote, like worldwide, to make Ohio the monster capital of the United States?
Hell yeah.
Like, just all monsters migrate there, or at least visit. Like, when you become a monster, when you're born, like mommy and daddy monster gives you a contract, and you've got to sign this contract in order to actually leave the den or the burrow or whatever the fuck monster hole you live in. And the deal is, upon leaving, at some point in your lifespan, you need to at least visit Ohio. And it's the monster capital of the world. It's like the monster equivalent of Mecca.
No kidding.
It's a place where all monsters were spawned from.
Yep, that's where their journey started. Good on you, Ohio. Keep them coming. Go rustle us up some frogmen.
But I mean, West Virginia is all, but also
Virginia, period, dude.
Yeah, but West Virginia, you got fucking Mothman and Flatwoods Monster.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember, what did the Silver Bridge connect to? Goddamn Ohio.
That's right.
And the Kentucky Goblins right on the border, fucking goddamn Ohio.
Yep.
I'm telling you, monster capital of the universe. We need to have some fucking big feats showing up there, some Loch Nesses, some champs. Yes, let's have the fucking showdown of the century and have Nessie versus Champ in Ohio.
Right, it'll be like Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah, but it'll be Nessie and Champ instead. And they're gonna fuck up Ohio.
I should edit it. I should edit that to where you just say they're gonna fuck.
They're gonna fuck Ohio a new asshole.
But like I said earlier, this video I came across was, you know what the fuck they were talking about, Mike?
Talking about motherfucking frogmen.
Yeah, they were talking about motherfucking frog people. I was like, people. I thought.
People. Yes. We cannot assume the genders of the frogs because, well, for one, legitimately in nature, there's certain species of frogs that if one sex outnumbers the other one by a certain margin, they'll start changing sex so that they can reproduce. So
that's got to be an ability, like a supreme alien species, like the most intelligent.
You'd think so. It seems pretty efficient,
right?
Like, you're like, well, I can't knock up anybody else. Maybe I'll knock up myself and get myself pregnant. Then you have perfect little clone babies. I mean, shit, it's efficient, Mateo. It's if you can't reproduce by mitosis, then
what the hell good are you?
Bang yourself. Get yourself pregnant. Lay a little clutch of frog babies that are going to pop out and look just like you. Probably half of them aren't going to find mates and they're going to end up fucking themselves, and the cycle continues.
Yeah. Do you think that since they can do that, they like consider numbers, or they just fuck themselves all day?
Well, I would imagine that if they reproduce like frogs do, where they lay hundreds of eggs, then there's some sort of predator species that's hunting them down and eating them.
Ooh.
Otherwise, they probably just lay one big, goopy, slimy egg, and then some fucking weird bastard fish monster comes out, Dada, or Mama, or whatever the fuck they call their parents. And as we said, eventually they become some lumpy, fat slop of shit that gets eaten by other babies in the future. It's a frog eat frog world, Mateo.
Well, this video mentioned a case called the Woodland Encounter. It's froggy frog, baby. It's just what it is.
It's just what it is. You can't help it.
But it's called the Woodland Encounter. It takes place in Russia in the Novi Pawlowski district. 1979, people began reporting a group of abnormally large frogs in the area. And that was pretty weird for them, and they wanted to report it, but it got really weird when they started being seen walking on their hind legs, making them about 3.5 feet tall. They said that their bodies were covered in horned plates or shields. They had fangs, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Their webbed feet had claws, and they had the eyes of snakes. It was reported that someone at one time threw a stick at them as they walked by. And
fucking people throwing sticks at cryptids. What are you doing, man?
Why?
Leave them alone. They've got every right to exist. Just because they look weird to you? Fuck, man.
Right. They were probably here way before the human species was, okay? But somebody threw a stick at one of these things, and the walking frog deflected it with a swift hand movement. And the way that...
Like a Jedi trick, maybe?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It was able to force it away.
You describing this thing made me think that maybe this whole frog lizard thing is maybe they're actually gecko people, like crested gecko people.
Oh wow!
So
you know
yeah,
what?
like look at what a crested gecko looks like. It kind of has a resemblance to a frog, but also a lizard. It's got the wide, broad face with a big mouth and eyes on the side, and kind of raised a little bit.
Right. Gecko man.
So, yeah, they're not frogmen. They're fucking. And the reason it made me think about it was because they have geckos have pads on their toes, but they also have little claws.
Huh.
And so when you said they've got clawed pad toes or whatever. Yeah.
Another one of the stories I saw about more frog people that I had never heard of was something called the Pamex
Gecko people, Mateo.
Oh,
Gecko people.
sorry. The Pamex frog people incident. It's what it's called. It took place in
Gecko people, Mateo.
Yeah, I'm just saying what they were calling it. They weren't privy to our futurely knowledge at this point. But it was in 1957. It's a construction company. The construction divers were working off the coast of Mexico, and they said that at a pretty low depth, they encountered giant frog-like people under the water. And they said that as soon as the frog-like people noticed that they saw them, they scattered.
Because they were going to warn Cthulhu.
Right. Yeah, that's scary stuff. I don't want to see frog people in the ocean.
No, you see frog people in the ocean, you know it's fucking the deep ones.
Right,
and,
yeah.
And you know you're going to go insane and probably die a horrible death. Yeah, there's a few other ones that we found. One of them, so this is where the maybe aliens come in, but this one was reported to the New York City MUFON news, or it was reported in the New York City MUFON newsletter. And this one occurred in Virginia in 1957. And there were 3 brothers who witnessed frog-like beings that were walking through the walls of the bedroom, like just kind of phasing through the wall.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like we've heard about that with abduction experiences, where the beings seem to just kind of phase through the walls, or in some cases, the victim of the abduction is pulled through their wall to a waiting spacecraft. But in this case, the brothers witnessed these frog things. They were walking on hind legs, like on their back legs, and they stood 3 to 4 feet tall, which seems to be the average height for these things. But they stood 3 to 4 feet tall. They had vertical slits on their eyes and pads on their hands and toes, like a tree frog would have. The witnesses reported that they were able to see out of their window that there were more of these beings standing on their porch, and suddenly it seemed like these things were everywhere, and they continued pouring in through the walls.
Whoa.
And eventually they blacked out, and that was all they remember. The next day, everything was back to normal.
How weird is that, dude? What was their agenda?
Yeah, I would imagine that the brothers were probably abducted, and if they had undergone hypnotherapy, they probably would have recalled something occurring when they blacked out.
Wow.
But it seems weird, like it sounds like it was like a fucking army of these things.
Yeah, that's strange.
But I say this one is similar to like abduction experiences, which is why this kind of ties in with the UFO stuff. But I have one that is actually a UFO sighting. So this one happened in Eucla, Australia in 1955. And there were these farmers that witnessed this metallic object falling from the sky. And they estimated it was about 5 kilometers from where they were. So they decided to drive out to where they presumed that it crashed to try and track it down. And they eventually came upon this jagged piece of metal in the desert, and they saw this humanoid frog wizard. I don't know if he was a wizard or not, but he had horns and a cloak. And to me, if you have horns and a cloak, you're a fucking wizard.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't cast any sparks out of a wand or anything, but as the farmers were watching him, the frog, what they said, the frog disintegrated and disappeared in front of them. So did he teleport, or was the Australian heat too much for him and he literally disintegrated? My guess is he's a wizard, so he fucking teleported. He's like, but shit.
Yeah.
My magic ball broke. I need to just get the fuck out of here. And then he teleported. And he's gone.
Right to Ohio.
Probably. I mean, it was in the 50s. Could have happened.
Yep. Well, I mean, the descriptions match everywhere. The ones in Russia match the ones in Ohio, match the ones that you're talking about. Maybe these are the inhabitants of these underground tunnels. And there's always groups of them, man. It doesn't seem like there's a shortage.
Then why did this guy fall from the sky?
I don't know.
I've got another pilot frog story to tell you.
What? Pilot frog?
Yeah, it's pilot frog. So in this one's more recent, 1982, in Phoenix, Arizona, of all places. There was a woman who was walking across the street to greet her mother, and she noticed what looked like a glowing orb, but she was wearing glasses, so she thought maybe like there was a light reflecting behind her, and the orb she was seeing was like a reflection from a light behind her. So she turns around and there's nothing there, so she looks up and she sees this glowing orange orb with a black dot in the center, kind of like a glowing orange eye. And she was about to yell to her mother to look up when this voice entered into her mind, and it said, "Don't tell." So she looked back up, and the pupil had dilated and opened up, and she could see that there was this frogman who was sitting at a console with levers and buttons and was like controlling this thing.
Oh.
And it again entered into her mind and told her not to tell. And then she went to yell to her mom, and the thing disappeared.
What the fuck?
It's a fucking weird one, man.
I hope that if they do invade, they are just like 4-foot frogs.
Yeah. Well, there's one more story that's more recent that I want to talk about, because this one it looks like like maybe a Power Ranger villain come to life. So this happened in January. Well, it was reported in January 2020 in Argentina. And locals around the Gachigalupi Dam had been hearing strange noises in the area. So they decided, a group of them were going to go out and investigate the sounds. They all went out at night because the noises always seem to happen at night, and they brought their flashlights and cameras, and they were trying to see if they could find out where these noises were coming from or what was causing them. And they spotted this huge frog-like humanoid creature, and they were actually able to take a picture of it before running off.
Ooh.
So this thing is, The funny thing is, it's like it looks like it's running in like a classic anime pose. Like it's got one arm crossed in front of it, and the other arm is like thrown back straight behind it, and it just looks like a fucking Power Ranger monster.
Yeah, he's dashing.
Yeah, yeah. But they, I guess, after taking this picture, they were able to run off, and that's the end of their story.
Wow.
But the picture, it's sure is something.
Well, shit, I'm shocked to hear of so many. I mean, frog-like, sure, but so many cases of describing the same thing. 4 feet tall. One had a wand and was able to use magic. The other one used Jedi fucking force moves. I mean,
don't forget about the teleportation that looked like disintegration.
Yeah.
He was teleporting on a molecular level, and that's why it looked like disintegration.
Yep. Watch yourselves, guys. We might have to not only fear barn owls, but now frogs.
Unless we all know that frogs like to eat insects and things that fly and stuff, and some frogs, like fucking Pac-Man frogs, will eat whatever they can get in their mouth. What if that these things are actually saving us from the barn owls? They're eating barn owls.
Ooh, they're so big. That's why they're so big. They're so they can swallow.
They only need to
owl.
be 3 or 4 feet tall to eat a barn owl.
Yeah,
that's it. So they shoot the sparks to what they're doing is temporarily blinding the barn owl because they've got the big eyes. So they shoot the sparks, temporarily blind it with the light, and then scarf it down and eat it.
My God, they're like the natural defenders of
They're
humans.
the saviors of the planet.
Yeah.
We just think because they're lumpy, fat, disgusting looking creatures that they're up to no good, but they're just here. They're actually our buddies. So if you see a frog man, give him a pat on the head, tell him he's doing a good job. You know, give him some fucking flies or whatever. I don't know if frogmen eat flies. Is that specious? Am I being specious, Mateo?
No. If you ask him, he's like, we make an ancient recipe pita bread and keep it in a leather satchel. Thank you very much.
We will roll up the flies. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, so give him flies, tell him he's doing a good job, and tell him to watch out for cops, because apparently
they'll shoot you.
Being afraid is justification for murdering an innocent creature.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.